Okay, today we're talking about budget, specifically what to do when you don't have one. Can you actually make a documentary with no money? The short answer is yes, but you'll need to follow the 4 essential guidelines we talk about in this video, and if you do, they will not only help you finish your film, but make something truly meaningful. So today, let's talk about making a no-budget documentary. All right, let's talk about the first and most important tip, which is planning. This really applies to all documentaries. Whether you have a massive budget or you've got no money, you've got to have a plan hashed out before you ever touch your camera. This is only intensified when you don't have any money. You literally can't afford to wing it.
You cannot afford.
So what should you plan? We've talked about this before, but I'll say it again. Figure out the main questions you're going to answer in your story. And if you're taking notes, here's a couple of them to get you started. Who or what is your documentary about? What does your character want? What's stopping them from getting what they want? And do they eventually get what they want? Now, these questions are far from an extensive list, and you should definitely go way deeper here. I'm just trying to get you started. Once you know these, outline your story and think about all the locations, the people you need to interview, and the scenes that you're gonna film to tie it together. Also, you should definitely make a detailed shot list. Even if you can't follow it exactly, it will keep you focused. At the end of the day, pre-production will cost you your blood, sweat, and tears, but the more you plan, the smoother your shoot will actually go. This is why the cliche, if you fail to plan, your plan will fail, is really true.
Plan. Need a plan.
Okay, tip number 2 is don't obsess over gear. Embrace what you've got and use it to the fullest potential. Yes, know the limitations of what you have, but embrace them. Figure out the strengths they offer and use that to your advantage. And remember, the weaknesses of your equipment can actually become a creative challenge that forces you to think outside the box.
Just think outside the box here.
Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't use connections that you might have to acquire appropriate equipment. Just don't obsess over it. And believe me, it's hard to say this as someone who likes gear a lot, but ultimately, your gear isn't what's gonna make you a great documentary. Literally, if all you've got is your smartphone, that's fine, use it. Your phone actually offers so many creative options that a bigger camera doesn't. One of the biggest ones that I can think of right off the bat is that you can practically film anywhere and no one's really gonna think twice. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need the latest camera or best lens. Yes, gear is good, I love gear. But gear is simply tools. It may be harder to use low budget solutions, but you can do it. I believe in you. Ultimately, story is the biggest thing that matters. Well, and audio. Audio definitely matters, but you can literally record like a lav mic into your voice memos app on your phone for like $20, or just borrow a decent microphone if you can. All right, the third tip is a big one. Pick a story you can actually tell both creatively and practically. On the practical side, if you're doing a documentary without money, you're going to need to find a story that's close to home. Yes, that international documentary sounds super cool, and those will definitely come. But first do one in your own area. Look close to home. Who do you know? What's happening in your community? Authenticity beats extravagance here. And often finding a local story will open you up to some pretty awesome opportunities. Also, you need to make sure that the story can actually be told from a creative perspective too. I've started researching several projects only to realize that I just can't tell the story for whatever reason. Sometimes the character changes their mind and just doesn't want to share. Or maybe the scope of the story is just too big for something that you can address. It sucks when you realize this, but you will save yourself a lot of pain if you realize this in planning and not while filming. All right, tip number 4, which is our final tip, is to collaborate with like-minded creatives. And I don't mean this by getting people to work on your passion projects for free. Yes, you may find some friends that are willing to help you out for free, and that's awesome. But the bigger concept here is not getting stuck in an echo chamber. Find creative people that have done this before and get them to share their opinions on your ideas. Ask questions about how to do things you haven't done before, and take constructive criticism. I've done this personally, and it's been invaluable to my projects. Let's face it, I'm by no means an expert.
Well, obviously.
I've got so much to learn and experience. So a few years ago, I met a documentary filmmaker that I look up to highly at a film festival. After talking with him about the project I was working on, he gave me his card and told me to contact him if I needed help. And I did. He actually connected me with a producer who was able to answer some questions I had regarding international documentary, which I had never done up until that point. At the end of the day, collaboration is key when making anything creative. Yes, you can definitely do this by yourself, but it will almost always be better when you have more brains working on the same thing. Making a documentary with no money is going to be hard. Literally nobody said it's going to be easy, but if you plan well, you don't stress about your gear, you choose a story that you can actually tell, and you collaborate with people who believe in your vision, you can make something really great. So, stop watching this video and start working. You've got this. I believe in you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's thinking about making a documentary. And let me know in the comments, what story do you want to tell no matter the budget? Okay, that's it for today. See you guys next time.